You've surely heard of the world's largest natural mirror, capable of reflecting the sky on an endless horizon. The Salar de Uyuni is so vast that it feels as if we've been transported to another planet. But did you know that in Bolivia there are eternal glaciers crowning sacred mountains, or deserts on the Altiplano where the scenery looks as though it came from another world? In the Valley of the Souls, rocks sculpted by time-guard ancient mysteries. At Laguna Verde, over 4,300 meters, 14,100 feet above sea level, the waters, tinted by minerals, shimmer beneath the towering shadow of the Lithium volcano. And amid it all lies Lake Titicaca, navigable at nearly 3,810 meters, 12,500 feet high, stretching out like a sacred sanctuary, the cradle of legends and civilizations. This is a country where faith raises imposing colonial cathedrals, where ritual combat is still offered to Pachamama, and where biodiversity bursts forth in paradises such as Amboro National Park, the heart of the Bolivian Amazon. The emotion is inevitable in the face of such grandeur. Get ready. On this journey, we'll explore Bolivia in 360 degrees, unveiling epic landscapes, surprising traditions, and secrets you may never have imagined. Bolivia is a country that beats at the heart of South America. Though it has no seacoast, its territory more than makes up for it with an astonishing natural diversity. It borders 5 countries: Brazil to the north and east, Paraguay to the southeast, Argentina to the south, Chile to the southwest, and Peru to the west. This position makes it a true continental crossroads where cultures, ecosystems, and mountain ranges converge. With an area of over 1 million square kilometers, 386,000 square miles, Bolivia is a mosaic of landscapes. What's most striking is how, within a relatively compact space, the geography changes dramatically. From the snow-capped peaks of the Andes to the tropical lowlands of the Amazon, passing through surreal deserts and semi-arid regions. This diversity makes Bolivia one of the richest countries in South America in terms of scenery and wildlife. In the west of the country rises the Altiplano, a vast plateau lying above 3,500 meters, 11,500 feet, framed by mountain chains of the Andes. Here lie some of the most emblematic cities, such as La Paz and El Alto, as well as Lake Titicaca, the highest navigable lake in the world, shared with Peru. But the Altiplano holds even more surprises. In the far southwest, near the Chilean border, sits the Eduardo Avaroa National Reserve, a land of otherworldly beauty. Geysers, ochre and red-hued deserts, lagoons colored green and crimson by minerals and algae, and volcanoes such as the towering Licancabur or Uturuncu, rising above 6,000 meters, 19,700 feet, compose a breathtaking scene. Few volcanic landscapes on Earth look so surreal, seemingly defying the planet's own rules. Descending from the Altiplano toward the country's center, the Interandean valleys appear. This region lies at an average altitude between 2,000 and 3,000 meters, 6,500 to 9,800 feet, with milder climate and fertile soils. It is marked by agriculture, responsible for much of the fruit, wine, and food that supply the nation. Cities such as Cochabamba and Sucre thrive in these valleys, home to populations living in a delicate balance between tradition and modernity. Heading north, the geography transforms radically. The thin air of the Andes gives way to the abundant humidity of the forest. Bolivia's Amazonian llanos make up nearly half of the national territory and form part of the largest tropical rainforest in the world. Here, mighty rivers such as the Beni, Mamoré, and Itene feed vast basins that sustain the Amazon. The biodiversity in this region is simply spectacular. Jaguars, tapirs, caimans, pink river dolphins, and hundreds of bird species are part of the grand spectacle of life unfolding beneath the canopy. For anyone exploring these territories, it's impossible not to feel nature's power in its purest state. To the southeast, along the Paraguayan border, lies the Bolivian Chaco. Unlike the lush Amazon, the climate here is hot and dry, with thorny scrub vegetation. Despite the harsh conditions, the region is of great ecological importance, sheltering well-adapted species such as armadillos, pampas deer, and a variety of birds and reptiles resilient to the heat. Bolivia's climate is as diverse as its landscapes. On the Altiplano, the cold is intense, with freezing nights even in summer. In the inter-Andean valleys, the weather is milder and more pleasant, favoring agriculture. Meanwhile, in the Amazon and the Chaco, high temperatures dominate, either with extreme humidity or extreme dryness. This variety allows the country to host multiple ecosystems within a single territory. Bolivia is regarded as one of the planet's mega-diverse countries. Its wildlife ranges from llamas and vicuñas grazing in the Andean heights to monkeys, jaguars, and tropical birds inhabiting the jungle. It's estimated that the country shelters more than 20% of all bird species in the world, along with hundreds of mammals and reptiles. In the Andes, pink flamingos bring life and motion to the lagoons, while in the Amazonian jungle, you can find trees soaring over 40 meters, 130 feet, tall. This natural wealth makes the country a true paradise for scientists, explorers, and nature lovers alike. Bolivia's geography is among the most remarkable on Earth. A landlocked country with seas of salt, volcanic deserts, snow-capped mountains, Amazonian rivers, and dry savannas. It's as if nature gathered all possible contrasts within a single territory. At the heart of this spectacle, the Altiplano rises as the stage for landscapes that seem born of another planet, reminding us that Earth still holds scenes capable of leaving us speechless. Before it was called Bolivia, this land was already home to grand civilizations and mysteries that still echo in the stones. In the heart of the Altiplano, not far from the sacred waters of Lake Titicaca, the enigmatic Tiwanaku culture flourished, leaving behind impressive temple ruins and monoliths. Dating back more than 1,500 years, Tiwanaku was such an important ceremonial and political center that its influence spread across vast Andean regions. Walking among the precisely carved stone blocks, one wonders how ancient peoples built such monumental works on the high plateau. Over the centuries, the region became part of the vast Inca Empire. To the Incas, the Bolivian Altiplano was not just territory, it was sacred land. Lake Titicaca, for instance, was believed to be the mythical birthplace of the sun and the moon, the origin place of Manco Capac and Mama Oclo, founders of Cusco and the imperial lineage. Indigenous peoples such as the Aymara and Quechua came to coexist under imperial administration, preserving traditions that endure to this day. The arrival of the Spanish in the 16th century changed the region's destiny forever. In 1545, the immense mineral wealth of the Cerro Rico of Potosi was discovered. It's said that so much silver was extracted from there that one could build a bridge of metal all the way to Spain. Potosi became one of the most populous and richest cities in the world at the time. But that opulence came at a cost. Thousands of indigenous people were forced into brutal labor in the mines under inhumane conditions. Even today, the silhouette of Cerro Rico looms over Potosi's horizon as a silent reminder of the price paid for silver's abundance. During the colonial period, cities such as Sucre, Cochabamba, and La Paz expanded, with Baroque churches, grand mansions, and plazas that still tell stories on every facade. Sucre, in particular, would become the stage for one of the most significant moments in the struggle for freedom. In the early 19th century, inspired by the winds of independence sweeping through Latin America, leaders and indigenous peoples united in uprisings against Spanish rule. After intense battles, independence was won in 1825. The new country was named Bolivia in honor of Simón Bolívar, the liberator, who played a crucial role in the continent's emancipatory movements. However, the first constitution was drafted in Sucre, which remains the constitutional capital to this day. The following years were marked by territorial disputes and social transformations. Bolivia lost its access to the sea after the War of the Pacific against Chile, in which Peru was Bolivia's ally, an event that still resonates in the national memory. It also fought the Chaco War against Paraguay, a grueling conflict waged in the dry, hostile southeastern lands. Despite these hardships, each era shaped a unique national identity. Today, ancient ruins, colonial churches, and urban monuments coexist side by side, forming a living narrative. Bolivia is a nation built on layers of history, from the mysteries of Tiwanaku to the splendor of Potosi, from the struggles for independence to the vibrant cities of the present. Strolling through its streets and gazing at its landscapes is to feel the past alive in the stones, the mountains, and in the eyes of its people. Bolivia's culture is a true spectacle of colors, sounds, and traditions woven into every detail of daily life. Few countries in Latin America preserve their indigenous roots so strongly while also carrying the deep imprint of Spanish colonization. Walking through its streets or visiting a local market, it's impossible not to feel this vibrant fusion that gives the country its unique identity. The diversity of its people is striking. A large part of the population descends from indigenous nations such as the Aymara and Quechua, who together make up nearly half of Bolivia's inhabitants. In the eastern lowlands live the Guarani and other Amazonian communities, while centuries of encounters with Spanish colonizers have resulted in a mestizo heritage that shows not only in appearance, but also in language, music, and cuisine. Although Spanish is the most widely spoken language, Bolivia officially recognizes more than 30 indigenous languages, including Aymara, Quechua, and Guarani. In cities like La Paz and El Alto, it's common to hear Spanish blended with Aymara in squares and markets, as if every word carries echoes of centuries of cultural resistance. Popular festivals are perhaps the most visible expression of this richness. The Carnival of Oruro, declared a UNESCO World Heritage celebration, is a festival that blends Catholic processions with ancient dances. For days, thousands of dancers fill the streets with symbol-laden choreographies, wearing costumes that sparkle like living jewels. Among all the performances, the most famous is the Diablada, which portrays the eternal battle between good and evil in an explosion of masks, drums, and trumpets. The sense of wonder arises naturally before such a spectacle, but Bolivia also preserves more primal traditions, such as tinku, a Quechua word meaning encounter. In places like Macha, near Potosi, entire communities gather to celebrate this ritual, where dances turn into fierce hand-to-hand battles between different groups. For many, every blow struck or received is considered an offering to Pachamama, Mother Earth, asking for fertility and good harvests. It's an intense expression that reveals not only conflict, but also the communal bonds and the strength of an ancestral past that still pulses in today's rituals. In Santa Cruz, festivities take on a more tropical rhythm, enlivened by infectious music and the warmth of the lowlands. This festive diversity shows that each region celebrates in its own way, yet all share the same cultural intensity. Lifestyles also change depending on the region. In La Paz, urban life beats at a fast pace. Markets such as Las Brujas offer everything from handicrafts to traditional herbs, and it's easy to get lost among the colors, aromas, and voices. In El Alto, the most Aymara city in the country, cultural pride is visible in the street fairs, traditional garments, and even in the multicolored buildings known as cholés. In the Interandean valleys, like Cochabamba and Sucre, the milder climate favors a calmer routine, with cafes, colonial plazas, and generous cuisine. In the Chaco and the Amazon, daily life is guided by the land. Communities live in harmony with rivers and forests, preserving ancestral practices of fishing, hunting, and farming. This regional diversity is perhaps one of Bolivia's greatest charms. Religion is also part of this cultural fabric. Catholicism is predominant, but rarely appears in isolation. In almost every celebration, Christian elements blend with Andean rituals. A procession may end with offerings to Pachamama, and a mass may be accompanied by traditional dances to the beat of drums. This syncretism gives Bolivian spirituality a rare authenticity that resonates in both bustling cities and small villages. For visitors, perhaps the most striking feature is the hospitality. Bolivia may seem simple in some respects, but it's in this simplicity that its richness lies. Guests are welcomed with generosity, whether on the busy streets of La Paz or in a remote valley village. It's hard not to feel part of something greater when sharing a meal, joining a celebration, or listening to the stories of people who proudly carry the traditions of their ancestors. Bolivian culture is, at its core, a reflection of its history, diverse, resilient, and full of life. It's easy to be swept away by the energy of its festivals, the depth of its rituals, and the warmth that pulses in every corner of the country. Here, past and present dance side by side, shaping an identity that is at once ancestral and contemporary, as vibrant as the mountains that surround it. Bolivia is governed under a presidential democratic system. The current president, Luis Alberto Arce Catacora, in power since November 2020, was recently expelled from the Movimiento al Socialismo party after disagreements with Evo Morales. The country is divided into 9 departments, each with a strong cultural and economic identity, yet all united under one nation. The government is elected by popular vote, with the president playing a central role, supported by a bicameral legislature. Despite historical challenges, this system keeps Bolivia within the democratic framework renewed every election cycle. Economically, Bolivia has long been shaped by the strength of its natural resources. For centuries, silver and tin molded its history. Today, natural gas remains one of the economy's main pillars, exported to neighboring countries and providing essential revenue. But it is lithium that now draws the world's attention to Bolivia's future. In the Salar de Uyuni, the largest salt flat on Earth, lies some of the world's largest known reserves of this strategic mineral, considered the fuel of new technologies. Foreign companies are already involved in extraction projects, and it's no exaggeration to say that much of Bolivia's economic future may hinge on the success of this endeavor. Alongside lithium, investments point toward a more diversified economy. The Mutun steel plant, located in the east of the country, is one such example. A project aimed at transforming local iron ore into steel within Bolivian territory, reducing dependency on imports and creating direct jobs. Agriculture is also vital. On the Altiplano, quinoa is cultivated in vast fields that seem to stretch to the horizon. In the valleys, coffee, corn, and fruits supply local markets. In the tropical lowlands, Amazonian Brazil nuts, soybeans, and livestock stand out as sources of income for thousands of families. This diversity reveals a country that successfully combines ancestral crops with global commodities. In the cities, the economy thrives in lively fairs and markets. The informal economy is an essential part of daily life, powering everything from small vendors to improvised public transportation. The cost of living is generally lower than in many neighboring capitals. Perhaps one of the secrets behind a people who know how to live simply yet, with creativity and resilience. It's impossible to ignore that. Despite current challenges, Bolivia's strength still rests on three pillars: natural resources, diverse agriculture, and popular commerce. This portrait reflects the energy of a country that continually seeks a balance between tradition and modernity. In the heart of the Altiplano rises the Valle de las Rocas, an almost lunar landscape formed by immense stones sculpted by the wind over millennia. Rocks that resemble animals, warriors, or petrified colossi are spread across a silent plain. It feels as if nature itself had fun as a sculptor, erecting an open-air museum. Advancing along the Andean frontiers, the Uyuni volcano towers to 5,868 meters, dominating the horizon between Bolivia and Chile. Fumaroles still escape its slopes, witnesses to a dormant force. The ancient ruins of sulfur mines recall how humans dared to challenge this giant. It's a mountain that inspires respect, imposing its presence in a landscape of extremes. Near La Paz, the Valley of Souls, or Valle de las Animas, impresses with the shape of its eroded mountains, reminiscent of stone cathedrals. The profound silence contrasts with the name steeped in mysticism. Walking among these vertical formations feels like stepping through a portal to another world. It's hard not to feel small before this natural architecture. On the shores of Lake Titicaca, the city of Copacabana breathes spirituality and tradition. It's a pilgrimage site where the faithful visit the Basilica of Our Lady of Copacabana, protector of Bolivia. It's also the port for boats heading to Isla del Sol. Here, faith and the beauty of the sacred lake meet in perfect harmony. Amid the Uyuni salt desert lies the enigmatic train cemetery. Rusted cars and abandoned locomotives seem frozen in time, witnesses to the era when Potosi and Uyuni pulsed with the rail transport of silver. Today they are metal skeletons that contrast with the endless white of the salt, creating a landscape of fascinating melancholy. Winding through the Bolivian Andes is the famous Death Road, or Yungas Road, considered one of the most dangerous routes in the world. With sheer cliffs and narrow curves, It was for a long time the only road linking La Paz to the tropical lowlands. Today, adventurers ride it by bicycle in search of adrenaline and the spectacular views that cut through the vertigo. High in the Andes, Laguna Tuni mirrors the mountains in crystal-clear waters. It's a tranquil lagoon and the starting point for trails to Condoriri. The serenity of its shores contrasts with the grandeur of the snow-capped peaks in the background. A place where the beauty lies in the silence and purity of an untouched landscape. In the city of Sucre, the Metropolitan Cathedral rises imposingly on Plaza 25th of May, at the colonial heart of the city. Its elegant white facade blends Renaissance and Baroque touches, reflecting centuries of faith and history. Dedicated to the Virgin of Guadalupe, patron saint of the city, the cathedral is a spiritual and architectural landmark impossible to ignore as you stroll through Sucre. In Santa Cruz de la Sierra, the Metropolitan Cathedral stands on Plaza 24th of September as a symbol of the city. Its neoclassical architecture impresses, with two tall towers that seem to watch over the square. Inside are sacred images and wooden details that reveal the skill of local artisans. It is a religious and cultural landmark of eastern Bolivia. In Oruro, the monument to the Virgin of Socavon stands out atop Cerro Santa Barbara. It's a monumental sculpture that watches over the city, recalling the Marian devotion that also inspires the famous Oruro Carnival. Seen from afar, the statue seems to touch the Andean sky, a symbol of faith that commands the urban landscape with serene grandeur. In the snowy mountains near La Paz, Laguna Charquini enchants with its emerald waters surrounded by glaciers. Framed by icy peaks, it is accessible by trails that reveal breathtaking scenery. Many visit it as preparation for bigger challenges. But even on its own, the lagoon delivers a spectacle of natural beauty impossible to forget. In La Paz, the Kili Kili Lookout offers one of the most impressive views of the city. From above, colorful houses spill down the hillsides like a sea of brick and concrete, while the Illimani mountain watches majestically in the background. Bolivia's capital reveals all its grandeur when seen from this privileged angle. In the Santa Cruz region, the Alto Espejo waterfall plunges amid tropical vegetation, creating a scene of freshness and life. The cascade glides over the rocks and creates a natural spectacle of energy and calm at the same time. It's one of those hidden refuges where the force of nature reveals its most exuberant face. Amboro National Park is a true ecological sanctuary. With more than 800 bird species and an impressive diversity of plants, it is one of the most biodiverse places on the planet. Its green-covered mountains, crystal-clear rivers, and dense forests feel like an invitation to explore the Bolivian Amazon, a natural paradise that astonishes with its richness and mystery. In the Cordillera Real, Lake Condoriri reflects snow-clad peaks that resemble a condor's outstretched wings. The scenery is as symbolic as it is beautiful, uniting crystal water, white mountains, and the deep blue sky of the Altiplano. In this setting, Bolivian nature speaks for itself in its purest, most majestic form. Laguna Verde in Bolivia's far southwest is a surreal spectacle. Its turquoise waters, which change hue with the wind, contrast with the imposing Licancabur volcano in the background. The scene looks like it's from another planet, And indeed, many visitors describe the feeling as walking through extraterrestrial landscapes. It's pure natural magic. In Bolivia's east, the Valle de Tucabaca holds flat-topped rock formations with cliffs and breathtaking views. It's a little-known region that impresses with its untouched beauty. The escarpments rise like natural ramparts, creating grandiose landscapes that recall epic film sets. A true hidden treasure in the heart of the Chaco. Huayna Potosí rises to 6,088 meters as one of Bolivia's most iconic peaks. Its snow-covered triangular shape draws climbers from around the world, considered one of the more accessible 6,000ers of the Cordillera Real. But even from a distance, its imposing silhouette inspires awe. Few scenes are as majestic as this white giant. And nothing concludes this journey better than the Salar de Uyuni. The largest salt desert in the world stretches like an infinite white ocean, reflecting the sky on rainy days and creating the largest natural mirror on Earth. Walking across this immensity is like traversing a dream, a surreal experience that forever changes how you see the planet. Bolivian cuisine is as diverse as its geography. From the Andean valleys to the Amazonian lowlands, each region holds flavors that blend ancestral tradition and popular creativity. Eating in Bolivia is more than nourishment. It's diving into a living heritage that speaks of history, peoples, and landscapes. In Cochabamba, the country's gastronomic heart, silpancho, is king. On a generous plate, beef is pounded until it's as thin as a carpet, breaded and fried, served over rice and potatoes, and crowned with a fried egg. On the side, a fresh salad balances the flavors. It's a simple dish, yet so tasty and emblematic that it has become a national pride. Another classic that impresses with its abundance is pique macho. Chunked French fries, sliced beef, sausage, peppers, tomatoes, and hard-boiled eggs are served together, topped with spicy sauces. The dish's popular origin traces back to the hearty, quick meals of workers, but today it's also a social ritual. Eating pique macho is about sharing, talking, and laughing in a group. In colder valleys, sopa de mani warms the soul. The thick peanut-based broth, mixed with vegetables and pieces of meat, is accompanied by crispy fries that float on the surface. Its flavor is so memorable that many foreigners rank it among South America's best soups. Perhaps it's the dish that best translates Bolivian comfort into a bowl. Tradition also appears in native ingredients like papalisa, a colorful, flavorful Andean tuber. In ají de papalisa, it's cooked with meat and seasonings, served with rice and salad. Every spoonful seems to tell a story of the peoples who have cultivated these lands for millennia. Chancho a la cruz is a festive tradition found in different regions of Bolivia, from Tarija to La Paz. The pig is butterflied and fastened to a large metal cross, slowly roasting in the open air. The result is smoky, succulent, irresistible meat that brings entire families together around the fire and the celebration. In the Amazonian lowlands, cuisine takes on the taste of the river. Sudado de surubi, an abundant fish in the Beni region, is prepared in a sauce seasoned with local herbs and peppers. It's a dish that connects you directly to the forest and the waters, reminding you that Bolivia is not only mountains, but also a living Amazon. There are also flavors tied to religious and communal moments. Queso humacha, made with melted fresh cheese, yellow ají, choclo, and eggs, is served on special occasions in La Paz. In Potosi, sopa de lulucha brings a unique delicacy to the table. Tiny Andean algae, harvested from high Andean wetlands, bofedales, that give the broth an earthy, unmistakable touch. Each dish reveals more than ingredients. It shows the soul of a people who find their identity in the act of cooking and sharing. From Cochabamba's abundance to Amazonian traditions, Bolivian cuisine is a banquet of stories, textures, and emotions. Tasting it, you feel that every flavor carries a piece of Bolivia. Bolivia is a country that seems to condense the spirit of Latin America. Between snow-capped mountains, salt deserts, and tropical forests, it reveals a diversity that moves you. Its history resonates in every ruin, its faith pulses in popular festivals, and its identity lives in every dish and every song. More than a destination, Bolivia is a mirror that reminds us of the wealth of our origins and the strength that springs from diversity. We'll wrap up here. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to give it a boost by hitting one of the buttons below. And of course, subscribe to the channel, leave your like, share this video to spread the culture. And if you'd like to support even more, become a channel member. Your participation is what keeps this exploration of the real world in 360 degrees alive.